Welcome to the 13th episode
13,
of the
13,
and it is our first one of 2019.
Oh, yeah.
So, Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, Mikey.
Happy New Year, Jamar. What's going on?
I'm good. So far, the New Year's been good to me. And yourself?
It's been going pretty well. And I see we also had the same idea. You got the hat, got the t-shirt.
We're both still on vacation, so we decided to dress down a little bit.
Yeah,
Now, if you are watching this episode, we would encourage you all to go ahead and press that like button and subscribe to our channel as well.
And then go follow us on our social medias. You can find us on Twitter at modernsports_. You can find us on Instagram at modernsportsmedia. And on Facebook, just go and search Modern Sports Media Group. We'll get it all set.
Now, this last week, we did actually incorporate as an official LLC, and we're launching our website with this video. So you can check it out, www.modernsportsmediagroup.com. There you can see all the articles we have on basketball, football, soccer, and hockey as well.
Yeah.
Baseball coming soon. We have the Nothin show, and we also have a football show coming soon. So stay tuned for that as well.
And on today's episode, we'll be discussing James Harden. I heard we have a wild take. I don't know from who. Then we'll talk about Jimmy Butler and the Brett Brown. He's yelling at another coach. And we'll also touch upon the All-Star voting and how that got released and what we feel about that. So let's hop into this episode.
Let's get it.
Last year, the Houston Rockets looked like a super team. They looked like the only team that could take out the Warriors. Beginning of this year, they looked very, very average. Carmelo Anthony gets shipped out. Chris Paul gets hurt. Everything looks like it's going down the drain. Then the month of December starts. James Harden takes the team, puts them in his backpack, says, I'm taking us back. He proceeds to average 40 the entire month. He starts dropping triple-doubles. He starts getting the crazy assist games. Games where he's hitting 50. Games where he's tiptoe, one more tiptoe, 3. Gets to the line at will. Some people are arguing, is he the most polarizing player? Some people say, is he the MVP? Is he even in the conversation because of his play style? Some people hate it. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it works. Jamar, what do you think about James Harden, especially this year?
I want to preface my comments by saying I'm not the biggest fan of it either. We've had different conversations, even on the last episode, about James Harden and his specific play style. But I have come to this conclusion. James Harden is 100% the most unguardable player in the league currently. Let me explain. Okay. When you take into consideration how tight his handles are, when you take into consideration the era that he's playing in, the amount of possessions, the pace of play, when you take into consideration his knowledge of the rules and his mastery of mastering loopholes and being able to use them at his will, being able to get the refs to call a foul whenever he wants. You look at him the wrong way, and it's a foul. Yeah. When you take all of that into consideration, and then you think of his actual basketball IQ, you think of his range, how deep he can shoot the ball virtually from anywhere, as we saw that game winner against Golden State. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's contested. A lot of people are forced to play him like this because they don't want a foul call so he can rise up. Or they press up on him to take away the 3, so he drives right by them. Yeah. And it's either a finish with either hand, it's a dump down to Clint Capella for a dunk. When you take into consideration all of those things, I truly think it makes him the most unguardable player in the league today.
Okay. So I can definitely see where that stance can come from. I can see how someone can argue it. I personally would never make that argument. Just because in the Western Conference, there's 3 players in the state of California that I think are more unguardable.
I'm assuming you're talking about Bron, KD, and Steph?
Yeah.
The only thing, again, for me, the thing that pushes him over the top is his mastery of the refs. He can literally get a call at will. Like I said, you look at him, it's a flagrant foul, 2 shots and possession. It's the most ridiculous thing. And so because of that, the way defenses are forced to play off. You've seen it many times where defenders play like this.
And then just pull up with the left hand.
They have to play like this because even if they're here, if they don't even touch him, he can...
Yeah, if your hand's right there, James Harden's just going to...
through. Exactly. Yeah. Flail his legs, and it's a foul. So because of all that, in addition to his actual skill, his actual basketball IQ, his size, his strength, I truly think he's the most unguardable player in the league today, and he has jolted himself right back in the MVP conversation. Like you said, things started out very shaded for the Houston Rockets. Yeah. But I think he's right up there with Giannis right now for that number 1 spot for the MVP right now.
Yeah, I'd put those two, then Anthony Davis. Again, another player who I think might be unguardable, but I'll give it to Harden over him. But LeBron James being 6'8", some people are saying he's even 6'10", as Tristan Thompson said. 260, just a straight freight train. The difference with that one is when he does draw the fouls, he gets to the line and you're not so sure what's going to happen. Steph Curry might have the tightest handle ever. Might have the greatest jump shot ever.
I 1,000,000% disagree with that. For the record. That is on record. Not accurate, but okay.
For the handle, right? Not for the jump shot?
No,
okay.
Okay.
He's
obviously the best shooter ever.
Shoots from anywhere.
Right.
And then he can get to the basket and finish with the best of them, honestly. Mm-hmm. Even though he is 6'3".
No, he's a good
small. Yeah. Kevin Durant, 7 foot. Shoot from the parking lot.
That was the biggest decision for me to make.
Now, see, another thing with unguardable is it doesn't matter if James Harden can pass. Because it's not really...
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I understand that. But
and the playoffs. That's my biggest issue with him. Last year, there was a shot from the right wing that he took because he thought Klay Thompson's hand was on him and hit almost the side of the backboard from like 40 feet out because he's looking for that. And then the year before when Kawhi Leonard's hurt, he loses to San Antonio.
The biggest thing with him is that his game is so reliant on getting those free throws that it doesn't translate to the postseason because it's a slower game.
Yeah.
There's less calls. Refs are tighter on the whistle, so he doesn't get that aspect of the game. So obviously, we have seen that his play has diminished in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think right now, this second today, I think he is definitely the most unguardable player in the league, and I think also that he's right there for the number one for that MVP.
I can agree with the MVP one because he's bodying it, unguardable. I'm still sticking with KD as the most unguardable player in the league.
The first fan vote numbers for the 2019 NBA All-Star Game came out this past week, and as usual, there were a couple little shady areas. Now, LeBron is leading the way by far, being the first candidate to cross 1 million votes. However, after that, it gets a little tricky. They currently have Luka Doncic in second place for the Western Conference forwards. That's having him over Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and Paul George as well. Also in the Western Conference, Derrick Rose is currently in second place among guards. Now, that's having him over James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and even Damian Lillard, who's currently in fifth place. Now, if we go over to the Eastern Conference, Dwayne Wade is currently in second place amongst Eastern guards, which has him over Kemba Walker, Ben Simmons, and even Victor Oladipo. Now, considering these numbers, I think it's safe to say why there's an argument why the fans shouldn't have a vote in general. Mm-hmm. But currently, they would have these players starting in the All-Star game. What's your take on that?
Okay, so since you ended with the East, I'll start with the East. I don't have a single problem with anyone. The Wade pick was the only one. Well, that's the only one which if someone has an issue with it, I completely understand. Kemba Walker should be starting.
Right.
Dwayne Wade should be in the All-Star game because it's his last year. So that's why it's like what happened with Kobe, how he started. Right. I think that's the thing. I don't have any other issues. Kyrie's definitely the best point guard in the East right now. Giannis, Kawhi, Embiid, there's not a single argument there.
I didn't see an argument.
Yeah, just, again, one last dance. So that's why I think that Wade is going to get it and should get it.
Okay.
He's also my favorite player ever, so there's a little bias there.
I do agree that he should be in the game, but I definitely think Kemba should be starting. I think he deserves it. The way he's played has been incredible.
Another thing is, I don't really think there's too many guards that might get snubbed this year. Like, I think I can see Kemba, Ben, and Oladipo all making it, and if those are our guards, okay. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I don't think anyone's missing out that we need.
Now the Western Conference?
Go to the West. The Doncic one popped out at me right away. That was very, very, very surprising.
Right now, if the All-Star game were tomorrow, he would be starting over Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and Paul George.
Well, he'd be starting with Durant at least.
Well, actually, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but over Anthony Davis and Paul George. Paul George is...
He's not even a forward. That's the biggest thing. He's not even a forward. He's a point guard.
Yeah.
And they have him listed in the front court.
It's the Dallas, the international vote, which, again, I really do like the play. I do like the fan vote. I think it's cool. I don't think
the fans mess up a lot.
I agree with that, but it's just like the reason why everyone watches is because they're a fan of the game.
True.
And it's also really cool for a 19-year-old kid who just came over from Spain to see over 680,000 people voted for him.
Let me ask you this. Does he even deserve to be an All-Star?
No.
That's my answer as well. So when you have him there in front of players like, as we mentioned, Anthony Davis, Paul George, he's in front of Damian Lillard at the same position.
He's ahead of Devin Booker. Jokic.
Players like that. That's
real All-Stars.
Exactly. So that's where it becomes like, okay, maybe the fans shouldn't have a say, or maybe their say should be diminished, as the league is already doing.
Yeah.
Because they notice, like, okay, we can't. There are players that deserve it that are not being rewarded. So I think that was definitely the biggest shocker.
And then Derrick Rose is probably the second coolest name to see on here besides Dwayne Wade.
That's cool, but again,
not starting.
Exactly.
He should be doing what he does in Minnesota. I'm fine with him coming off the bench. I love the redemption story.
You think he's an All-Star?
I think it can be argued.
I don't think he's an All-Star at all. He comes off the bench on his own team.
Yeah, but he comes off the bench when he plays All-Star minutes. Or he plays minutes. Okay, it's like with Manu.
Who's he an All-Star over? I'm just going to list names. Because he's a guard. Steph Curry.
No.
Damian Lillard.
No. James Harden, no.
James Harden.
Russell Westbrook not having...
Westbrook.
I mean, I give it to Russ because it's a bigger name.
Russ, exactly. So, out of those 4 guards right there...
But I have him right after that. I don't think there's anyone... I mean, you can argue that players are ahead of him, and I have no issue if one were to say, for example, Jamal Murray I wouldn't be the biggest fan of. Devin Booker would be an interesting one. Klay Thompson would be sort of...
not with the year he's having.
Yeah, it's having a bad year for his standards. I think also it's the Derrick Rose story, and because it's the All-Star game, it's not the All-NBA vote. It's who we want to see in this pickup game.
That's fair.
And I think Dwayne Wade said it this week when someone was asking about it, like the Derrick Rose being there. He's like, if you're not a fan of Derrick Rose, you're not a fan of basketball.
Yeah, no, he said you're not a great person.
Yeah, like it's just.
But we'll definitely be looking forward to seeing what these next numbers look like. I'm sure the fans will tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, I hope Anthony Davis gets that spot over Doncic.
No, definitely. He will.
I think that's my biggest issue. Just when we thought it was all over this year with the Jimmy Butler coaching saga, it continues again. He gets shipped out of Minnesota, goes to Philly, loves it for a month. Now he's having issues with Brett Brown. What is my role? I need a bigger role. I need the ball more. Jimmy Butler, we were just doing this 2 months ago. You're just doing this with Tom Thibodeau. You did it with the Bulls right before that. You have to understand it's not all about you. I don't think he's wrong. I really do not think he's wrong. I agree with Jimmy Butler. But there has to be a better way to go about this. You have to agree with me.
I 100% agree with you. I also agree with Jimmy Butler. I don't think he's been wrong in any of the situations.
Not a single one.
I think the problem is that he doesn't know how to portray himself. And the problem is that the media knows how to portray people very well. So what he's doing is painting a bad picture of himself as a team killer, a coach killer. A process, a program killer.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that, especially in a year like this year for him, right before free agency, that's going to affect his pockets too. So I really don't understand why he's making a move like this. I don't understand. From what I know, Brett Brown's extremely approachable. I don't understand why you can't just talk to him. I don't understand why he has to do it in this manner. And I really think it's going to affect his pockets coming this offseason.
Yeah, I've heard great players coach. People like Brett Brown. I haven't heard the best thing about him on the coaching side, but there's definitely a better way. You can knock on the door, give him a call, say, hey, can I come talk to you instead of in a meeting? No, yada, 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 yada. I need the ball. Yada, yada, yada. What's my role? Right. Yada, yada, yada. Give it to me at the end of the game. No, Jimmy. I don't think you're wrong. I still don't think he's wrong. He's right every time.
That's the thing.
way he goes about it.
Right. He needs to learn how to do it.
The second team story was cool. Don't get me wrong when he did in Minnesota. But like right now, the East there's no LeBron in the East. It is open. The East is as open as it's ever been for the past decade.
Yeah, literally.
They have a shot.
Literally for the past decade.
They have a shot. Yeah. You can make it to... you want to do this?
Yeah, I really don't understand it. Like I said, especially in a contract year, because what he's doing now is going to affect what teams think of him. Yeah. And affect what teams pay for him. So I really don't get it, and we'll just have to follow the story, see what it goes.
He should get the ball over Ben Simmons at the end of the games. That's my issue. That's it, Jimmy. Say that. That's it. Yeah.
And that concludes the 13th episode of the Nothin But Net Show. As always, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us and for watching our show.
Yeah, we love you all so much. Thank you for all the support you've continuously given us, and we hope it grows further and more in the new year. We'd also like to remind you guys that we have separated our interviews, so you can find those now on our YouTube account. So definitely come and show love on those. Show some love to Tyler Barney, who gave us a great interview. Thank you again for that interview, Tyler.
Yes, thank you. And be sure to remember that we are launching our website with the releasing of this episode.
Yeah.
So go ahead and check it out at www.modernsportsmediagroup.com. You can find all of our interviews, our articles, our shows, everything from the same site. So thank you all once again.
Yeah, we just want to thank you all for making this possible. And 2019, we're trying to give you all the content we've been planning on giving you, and just give it, show love. We love you all so much. Thank you, and peace.